Hello and welcome. We are going to be continuing work on our large scale 132 Revell Messerschmitt BF-110G. So we are basically picking up pretty well where we left off last time. We dropped the clamp off of this nacelle here because now that I've just got one of the wings taped up here, a corresponding wing, you can see that it's definitely out of shape. So we're gonna have to work this back in, get that to fit in here tight. So once we can, we'll get it held into shape. I'll use some CA glue and we'll get it locked down. But I think once we get it into shape, I think it's going to be okay. So that's where that is. And then this is the plastic putty, and I've done it like a weld, like a weld. But this stuff takes quite a while to get really hard, like hard enough to sand. So we'll just do it. I didn't have any sprue glue made, so I had to make some, and I just used the plastic putty. So I think it'll be okay. It'll take a little bit longer to set up, but we'll just let it sit overnight. But I should, I guess, get some paint in here because this is going to be interior paint color, and there's some more assembly, but we definitely have to get some corresponding paint here on the wings. But anyways, that's the nacelle, the one that's out, so that's not going to be so bad. I'm glad we got over that hump, and the wings are fitting together really nice. So we've got a nice fit along the seam of the wings, so that's looking good. Just set that off to the side for a second, and this can sit over here to dry. Now we have our other nacelle, which is fitting together totally nice. Like there's no problem here at all. This one just clicks together easy peasy. So we get a good fit right there on the seam. And it has a little bit of a wang to it, but nothing like the other one did. So I'll get this one glued together and the engine glued in place, and we'll get this one glued together. And then I can put probably a little filler down here too, and then we'll let those set. But in the meantime, we've got our tail put together here, and it's ready to go in once we finish gluing. So we're ready to keep gluing our fuselage together. We've got it just sort of pinned here, tacked here at the back. We've got it tacked along the bottom. We've got this that we can scrape away, but that'll help fill the seam too as we do that. And we're just kind of, sort of checking the fit as we go around, and just make sure. Now there is a fair bit of flash, I am finding, once you start assembling, but it's not, it's not terrible. So, and then this is going to fit in like such. So we don't have too bad of a fit there, I don't think. Right? That looks okay. So really we're just going to keep going along here, along the spine of the fuselage, and we'll get this sorted. And I think I can put a tack right there. Right? So I think I'll use the extra thin because it's pretty fast acting. I just want to get it just in here, an area that I can control, instead of trying to do the whole thing all at once. And I just want to get a good bond right there. I was thinking I don't mind holding that for a while, right? So I'll hold this for a while, and then we'll come back. And basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to pin here, right, and then I'll work my way around the front, and that should pretty well finish this off. And then I can run a bead all the way down the boom of the fuselage, and we should be pretty good. Once we get the tail clipped on, then we can start to really concentrate on the nacelles and the the rest of that wing assembly. So I'll be right back. So with the nacelle again, I'm going to start sort of right here at the front on this, inside of where the cowling's going to go over the nose cone, the spinner for the prop. Kind of start right here in this corner, and then what I want to do is I want to get this little scoop here right at the front See that? Well, I want to get that nice and square so it's nice and flat right there. Just like that. So I'm going to start with a tack there and a tack there. Let that set up. And then I'll worry about getting the rest of it bent and torqued together. So I'm just going to get a little drop here inside where I know I can get at it. And I'm going to have a little bit right here. We'll just get this started from the position that we want. And then that should make it easier as we go. I just want to hold that so it's nice and flat. See, if I let go, it'll want to bend. So I'm just going to hold it like that. And when we come back, I'll have this, we'll get this underside glued in and this back part glued together. And then we can start piecing together our wing assemblies. But I just thought that was because, the other one was really twisted and I was trying to bend it and torp it. And, over the course of that one, I sort of came to this little method of glue points anyways when you're putting these together, and you may find that helpful. So there's that spot right there, and once you get that lined up perfect, then you're pretty good, because that face is going to be right there. It lines up that thing. You've got it pretty plumb to each other and faced up correctly. So looks like we're starting to take hold there, so that's good. Okay, so I'll get this glued together, and then we'll have something to show for our work when we come back. Okay, hiccup number 3, I guess, is getting this nose fitted in. I can bring up, but you can see that we're a little bit different of a profile here with the nose than with the fuselage. And it's opening up this gap on the top for now, but I think we can get it back closed again. So, I think I'll clean that off. Oh no, the plastic is relaxing around it. I think I'll leave it there. Okay, so let's get this sealed right now. I'll pop this guy. No, let's leave them in there. Might not fit in after. Might have to shave some of them. Okay, there we go. Just want to get a good seal here. And I don't mind holding this for a while. Right? Because that'll kind of hold this in place. And I'd give a shot at the bottom, but I can only hold one thing at a time, and I think holding it here is going to be the best bet. So let's just stick with the plan. Stand. So we're going to hold this for a bit, and we shall return. Okay, I've got grip enough that I could rotate hand here, and I just want to get, again, I'm just going to go slow. I just want to get a bond point and let that capillary action just work for me. And we'll just sort of let it grab there, right where it wants to sit, and we'll hope for the best. So it's a whole lot of holding going on. Another thing we learned is landing gear has to go into these pins here. These pins have to fit into this hole. It's like a semicircle right here on either side. And you have to open up the back end to get that to go. So I'll have to reglue this now. So just note to self, note that you got to get this in place here in between, and then that'll set it right up like that, and then you can move on. So it is what it is, and we will have to reglue that. So you want to make sure you got this dude in where he's supposed to go, which is right there. Right there. That's where he's supposed to be. So we'll get him locked into place, and then we'll be able to get this button back, even though there's quite a bit of force there, but we'll get her there. We'll get her there. Oh, more holding going on. So we're just going to hold this in place and hopefully get it to bite. We'll just keep a grip on her. Alrighty tighty, we've got this one in place, so I'm just going to be hold on to me. I'm just going to be holding this into place, because if I let it go, it's going to spring right back where I don't want it to. So yeah, I'm just holding on. Alrighty, well, I just kind of got her just sort of mocked, just sort of sitting here. there's milling to do in the side of the fuselage here to get these tabs to fit in, but they do fit. Now there's these extra little tabs that stick out from the side of the wing, and they give you this gap here. And I wondered if it was supposed to be there, but I kind of went looking around and I saw that, like here was an example, and this is like a collectible, and you can see though that there's no, he hasn't provided for any seam line there or anything. And I looked around and I saw like where the seam line hadn't been taken completely out, but you know, it was not quite as, you know, let's see, where's my camera? There it is. It's not quite as pronounced. Now we have, you can see here actually, like they give you a really good idea in this example here of the canopy. And yeah, it's gonna, I guess this goes there, this goes up, that should be open. And I guess it provides us for either open or closed. And that's what these extra bits are here. So these extra bits must be to open or close. This will be the top and these will be the sides for there. Right? And then that'll have our gun sticking out the back. And yeah, so I think what we'll do is, it's taken a while, like bending these into place, getting these nacelles to get stuck on. And let me back off here. But we can see, now that we got it sort of mocked up, other than the one wing coming out, this is, she's a big Fräulein, no? So yeah, I think I'm gonna hang these, and I'm gonna have it with the, I think I'm gonna have it with the Spitfire coming down over top, sort of, you know, on that strafing angle. And have them hanging, so I can have this one hanging over top, I can have this one, and have them both up in the air and display them that way. So I have a pilot. I think I was originally going to put this on the ground, but I think we are going to, in the long run, put the pilot inside, and yeah, have them both in flight. So I guess we'll be putting wheels up on this girl, and these guys can be just sort of taken off, I guess, maybe, and we'll have him coming down and taking a shot. But so far, we are running into, I guess, those problems. I was advised that this kit actually was sort of like mid-tier, not, you know, that sort of, so it wasn't really that premium type kit. Yeah, one of the subscribers let me know that he had built this kit in '88, I think he said, is when he first built this kit. And he said it was a bit of a kerfuffle here and there. It wasn't the best of kits, but, you know, in the end, you can get it together, get it to look good. So we're going to keep forging ahead. So, yeah, now that we've kind of got the cockpit set in place, and I'll just quickly sort of let you look here at, or show you the underside. So we've got these nacelles in. They are going to take a little bit of gap filler along the sides and the underside of the wing. But other than that, I'm really happy with the fit that we've got so far. So we do have some gaps to fill, but they're not horrible, and they're definitely, we'll be able to clean them up. And they are on the underside. So I mean, all of this stuff that we got to kind of fix up is, you know, it's on the underneath of the plane. So even though we're going to be hanging it out, I'm going to hang it in a way that you'll be, you know, mostly seeing the top of it. Pretty sure that'll work just fine. So I think next time when we come back, we'll get the guns fitted in here. We'll get the nose glued into place. I'll have the wings on. We'll have the wings glued into place. We've got our wheels prepped, and we just kind of did some basic preliminary paint on them. We'll put them on in the end, but we've just sort of done a little metal around the hub, and we'll do our trick with the panel liner with the black enamel to finish in the rubber, but we'll get those glued together. There's the final struts and stuff and the flaps. I think what we'll do is we'll paint the flaps separate for all of the wheel housings underneath in here. So we'll paint all these flaps separate, and then we'll glue them on in the end along with the wheels. We will get these on. There's these breather parts that have to go on underneath. We'll get those on before we paint. But we'll want to, I'm going to paint in here the interior color, And then I'm going to paint in here. And then before I glue on the vent, which goes on here. And that's for the other wing, because it'll be the other way. But anyways, you get the idea. They go underneath here. And that's where those are going to go. And a quick edit. When I said this was for the other wing, no, I was incorrect, because that's the way this goes in, I do believe. Yeah, like that. So there you go. That's the way that's going to fit in, like that. I had it on backwards. So, yeah, when I was looking at editing, I was doing the editing, and I looked at that, and I thought, wait a minute, I think I got that thing upside down and backwards. Which, well, not upside down, but backwards. And I did. So, I thought I would correct that. So, that's all. Yeah, other little things that we're kind of coming across. It looks like I may have lost one of these parts here, right here. Let me just slide this over so I can show you. So right here is the panel that goes in this intake here on the front of the engine nacelle, and that fits in there. And I somewhere in my chaos, obviously, that I get going on usually, but somewhere in my organized chaos, I lost one. So I've made another one. And I just used a piece of the sprue. It's the number part. I just cut it off and cut back. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to incorporate this screening into this vent that goes in the front there, and kind of give that an extra bit of dimension. So we'll see how that goes too. But we're getting there. We're the parts are shrinking off of the sprue. So clearly we're going to be left with our antenna, which is going to be that complicated array that goes on the front. That's clearly going to be after we get the paint color on. So next episode I think will be a lot more fun, because we'll have basically, I'll get all the tedious stuff done. I'll get the wings set in place, and I'll get all of the masking done, which is a fair bit here on the canopy. And I will get the all of the door open, set aside and stuck onto sticks to get painted, and we will be able to get that paint job on the bird, and then that just can sit aside while we do the final assembly parts, which are going to be that general where are we? There we are. Let me open this up a bit. So generally we're going to get into our assembly of the front part, and these exhaust parts are going to go on for our engine, the nacelles, and then obviously this array is going to get the final thing. Now we may use wire. We do have copper, we do have wire, we do have different stuff that we could maybe use if this doesn't start to look too good, but we can see it's a pretty intricate little array that goes on here. So we'll be able to look forward to that. But basically what I want to do is tonight, while I'm working here, I want to kind of push ahead and let the wings set, get those set into place, and get the last bit of the big construction done. And then I can work away on the canopy tonight and get that masked in, because that's going to take the bulk of the time for what I've got going on here through this bit. And then when we come back, we will be able to spend most of our time going over any of the construction the construction points that may have presented a bit of a problem over here or over there. But we can basically spend most of our time and concentrate on the paint job, which is going to be the hoot, eh? I'm looking forward to the paint job. Yeah, there it is there. Boink. That'll be us here. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be nice. So we're going to start with this dark color on the top, and work our way into the blue. So basically, we're going to start with our coat of primer. We'll do a pre-fade on the top. We'll do a bit of a pre-shade on the bottom, like I do. And then I'm going to start with this light color, actually. So we'll get the light on the top, and then we'll work our way down with the dark, because we've obviously got to, work these squiggles into the sides of the rear tail and down the sides of the fuselage. So, and then it looks like everything else that goes underneath, we can, kind of go here and there. It looks like we can figure out what we want to do. We have some license as far as creativity goes. So I think, yeah, just a kind of a quick one for now, and a few tidbits, I guess, for if you're building this kit. Yeah, be prepared to be holding. You can't just rely on tape. You'll think you've got it taped. You'll go back a couple minutes later and it slid a bit, or because there were some parts that I've really had to bend into shape. But that being said, I'm pretty encouraged with where we're coming, and I've been able to get this clamped and pushed together without, now touch wood, clunk clunk, without any fingerprints. So I'm really happy about that too, because I have a tendency sometimes to let that happen, and we haven't been. So we're gonna really take it easy and take it careful, because I really want this to turn out looking good. Because I think once we get the final stages on the Spitfire and the decals on it that we're waiting to come, I think we're really gonna have a nice display here. So I'm getting really excited. And yeah, I guess that's it for me for now. Until next time, and I hope if you're building this kit, I hope some of this is helpful to you. And if not, I hope you just found it entertaining or informative or at least colorful, maybe. But anyways, that's me, the model student, for now. And until next time, live, love, laugh, plan something for the future. And until then, I'll see you later. Bye.